Well, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Full Credit to Not Another Dom Young Pegging in the Park podcast. I'm your special guest, former legend. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and that Ask Crabs platform that is Blue Sky at former_legend. And let's kick off what caught my senses in the past 7 days, boys. I don't know if you've heard about this bloke, Clement van der Kokenlove. He's a 26-year-old used car... Stop laughing, Phil. That's how I'm going to pronounce it. He's a 26-year-old used car salesman in Belgium who has just been announced as the newest member of their royal family over there. It seems Clement's mum, Wendy van Wanten, she didn't leave many wanton, might have spent a bit of time with Prince Laurent in the late 90s and later gave birth to Clement. Now, after a couple of claims and some DNA tests, it's now been proven that he's from royal blood. And hasn't business boomed down at Brussels' version of Beats Walking, where people are now trying to buy a shitbox from royalty? But it makes me wonder, how would other royals go if they had to try and sell you a car? What type of cars would they be selling? I mean, you reckon King Charles, with those big sausage fingers that he's got, he'd probably try and sell you something with one of those balls on the steering wheel like a forklift, you'd imagine. Camilla, well, just looking at her, I reckon anything with some horsepower, if you know what I'm saying. Prince Harry, well, he'd be in anything American, even if he knows it's a bit of a lemon. Prince William would be up for selling you an old Audi or a Range Rover, something pretty boring and straight and solid. But finally, you get to Prince Andrew, and geez, what do you reckon he'd try and sell you? He probably wouldn't be, though, very brand specific, if you know what I'm saying, but you'd imagine he'd try and sell you something over 12 years of age. Anyway, enough of that. Time to do a rapid recap of round 25 in the NRL, which was, of course, the inaugural Balloon Knot round, where the NRL celebrated shark Toby Rudolph, who recently appeared in court for chucking a brown eye at a park ranger. Now, the story goes that Toby was walking his two pit bull terriers, Bird and Rudder, named after his two favourite players as a kid, Greg Bird and Sean Rudder. Anyway, the park ranger yelled out to Toby, "Hey, Toby, put a lead on Bird and Rudder." And Rudolph said he misheard the ranger and thought he said, "Hey, Toby, show me your turd cutter." Anyway, to celebrate this, anyone willing to show their leather Cheerio at the gate of an NRL game on the weekend would get half-price tickets. So let's start on Thursday night when the Panthers returned to the winner's circle to beat the Storm 22 points to 14 down at Ron Katut Park. The Panthers scored 22 points in this one. Frighteningly, they did that in the first 30 minutes, leading 22-0 after just half an hour. And the Storm had no real excuses not to get closer than they actually did. Melbourne had 58% of the possession and made 41 tackles inside Melbourne's 20-metre zone compared to just 11 for the Panthers. But essentially, this was just another edition of the Brian To'o show. The man with the stinkiest ass.
And if you didn't know, you don't know Brian To'o, this man has the stinkiest ass I've ever been around.
Scored 3 tries in the first 30 minutes alone, including his 100th NRL career try, a 60-metre intercept try, and a spectacular third try after Cleary found an overlap and put him in the break. He finished with 224 running metres from 20 carries. He had 3 line breaks, 8 tackle breaks, and 3 tries. And it's the 5th hat-trick of To'o's career. Jeez, I tell you what, you go a long way to get better stats than that. The little man, who is heading to Port Moresby in a couple of years' time, dominating this one, much like he'll dominate overhead luggage when he goes to the Chief and has to travel every second week. Friday, and the Broncos surprised the Raiders at GM Coles Stadium and upset the Josh Papali'i party, winning 34 points to 30. The game ended at 5 tries to 4, and the visitors had to withstand a late Raiders comeback to get the chocolates. And after the game, Ricky said it was a tough loss, but he was happy for Madge, who he counts as a close friend. Spoiler alert, they fucking hate each other. With superstar Reece Walsh sidelined after undergoing surgery for a severe syndesmosis injury, Hayes Perineum stepped up under massive pressure to take the number 1 jersey for the Broncos. And he didn't disappoint. In just his 5th NRL appearance of the season, he finished in the game with a try, 5 goals, 14 points, 132 running metres, 3 tackle breaks, 1 line assist and 1 try assist. Sensational. I don't know where else you're going to get these stats from, guys. I'm not sure if anyone's reported this, but Brisbane are the reigning premiers, boys, and the Raiders are the reigning minor premiers, and yet neither of them are going to make the semi-finals, which is quite extraordinary and something I've not heard mentioned in the media about 5,000 fucking times. And this is the first time that the premiers and the minor premiers have both missed the finals since Ricky Martin was kissing girls. The second game on Friday was from Pauline Hanson-Burker Oval, where the Dolphins beat the Eels 34 points to 16. The Dolphins made it 5 straight wins and strengthened their grip on 4th place. But it was a less convincing win than the scoreline would suggest. In fact, it was less convincing than my story to the missus about why I had to go on a business trip to Phuket for 3 weeks, coincidentally at the same time as all my old footy mates were heading over there. Herbie Farnsworth was probably the most influential player in this game. He scored 2 tries, including an extraordinary 85-metre effort in the 79th minute after pouncing on an Eels error. Herbie went bananas in this one. He ended up with 2 tries, 174 running metres, 19 runs, 7 tackle breaks, 2 line assists, a try assist and 17 tackles. I say it again, where are you going to get these stats from anywhere else? But the most heartwarming part of the game was just how poor the milkman, Mitch Moses, was in this one. He missed 6 tackles, he had 0 line breaks, 0 try assists. Oh, actually, I tell a lie. He set up the Dolphins with a rubbish cross-field kick that led to the Redcliffe team scoring. Saturday, and the Sea Eagles put the wheels back on the Fosball bus to beat the Knights up at Ronald McDonald Stadium 44 points to 24. It was an 8 tries to 4 trouncing of the Knights and marked a historic milestone as Manly's 1,000th premiership win. It simultaneously snapped a 6-game losing streak for the Sea Eagles while dealing a massive blow to Newcastle's top 4 aspirations. Newcastle initially held complete control on their old boys' day, leading 18 points to 6, but the match swung dramatically when the drop pie, Dom Young, was sent to the sin bin, and while he was there, Manly capitalised heavily with a staggering 80% of possession in that time. They ran in 3 rapid tries in just 6 minutes, including 2 from Josh Melody, to completely hijack the lead at 24 points to 18. But the game can be summed up by how the 2 opposing fullbacks went. Turbo Tom Trebojevic had a massive game. He had 20 runs, 167 running metres, 60 post-contact metres, a line break, a try assist, 3 tackle breaks. I mean, these stats are unbelievable. Meanwhile, the Strawberry Milkshake man, Kalen Ponga, spent the afternoon with the Benny Hill music being played behind him, culminating the 71st minute try to Lehigh Hopewadi, when he forced a Kalen Ponga error that resulted in a falcon to the son of Stinkfist, who then dived on the ball to score. The second game on Saturday was at empty Blue Seat Stadium, where the Warriors flexed their attacking muscle. But not in the same way Steve Philp used to flex his muscle back in his heyday at Randy Wicks. They beat the Bunnies 45 points to 26. The game ended at 7 tries to 5, but it wasn't really a fair reflection of the dominance of the Kiwi team, who looked to be taking the attitude, if you score 20 points, we'll go and score 40. And a lot of the success of the Wars can be put down to just how good their hooker is going right now. In fact, Wade Egan's hooker work is going so well that he's turning heads everywhere. Even the Sydney Swans are said to be interested in signing him to a very short-term contract, reported around $200 for 2 hours in a pool man hotel room. And in an interesting moment in this game, when the Warriors were leading 44 points to 26, rookie halfback Luke Hanson kicked a field goal in the 80th minute to make it a 19-point margin. That 1 point took the Warriors' points differential to plus 295, one better than the Penrith's plus 294. So Hanson essentially kicked a field goal with the game already won, specifically to grab top spot on the ladder. It's the biggest thing Hanson has done since the Mbop Live Tour of 1998. And in the final game on Super Saturday at Pappas Politis Stadium, the Bulldogs beat the Bye 44 points to 14. Even more impressive is that the Dogs beat the Bye despite only having 12 players on the field for 20 minutes during the game, as Matt Burton and winger Jonathan Sewer both went to the bin. And it was a weird game for Burton in particular because outside of sitting on the pine for 10, he had a big night. He scored 2 tries before halftime and ran 158 metres for the game. Those stats again. And the highlight of the night was when Bulldog Connor Tracy crossed the line for a try in the 74th minute and got Tyrell Stone to pull his pants down so he could expose his buttocks, really getting to the NRL balloon not round celebrations. Sunday saw the Sharks bang up a busted Titans team at Bang Bus Super Stadium, 30 points to 22. But they had to do it in a hard way, overcoming an 8-point second-half deficit to get the win against the Gold Coast team. Gold Coast completed an impressive 86% of their sets, but their defensive line crumbled easily, missing 46 tackles compared to Cronulla's 27 and leaking 9 line breaks. Philip Semi had a massive game. He scored the Titans' 3rd try, and his overall numbers were outstanding. He had 29 runs, 255 metres gained, highest of anyone on the field, by the way, 97 post-contact metres, 2 line breaks. Those stats. It was the 86th try for the Gold Coast gun, moving him past the small goods man Anthony Don as the club's leading try scorer. And ironically, the fact that a club hero and record holder is heading to the Dragons next year is giving everyone at the Cogra a semi. In the final game at Pappas Polita Stadium, it was the team of destiny, your West Tigers, who humbled the Roosters in an absolute shellacking, flogging the Glamour team 25 points to 24. In a result that has been described as the biggest upset in 10 years, the Tigers started at $9 with the bookies to win this game, or as I know it, money for jam. In a momentous game like this, it only seems fair that I break it down play by play. So let's do that. The Tigers kicked off and Nafahu White was met by a wall of Tigers 15 metres out. The second hit up of the game was from Marky Mark, who was met by 3 Tigers, including Appy Coruscant on the 20-metre mark. Butcher took the third carry for the Roosters and he made it to the 30-metre mark. But then Alex Twal was injured in the fourth tackle as the Roosters got to halfway. Look, I could go on, but given Barty and Philpy were about to do a 49-minute breakdown of the Knights... Oh, hang on, they lost. They'll talk about it for about 30 seconds, I'd say. Anyway, I'll stop there. Throughout the game, Jock Madden had to be replaced from goal-kicking duties for the Tigers after he missed everything in his first 3 attempts, which seems weird given that he was thrown the ball to kick the winning field goal later on the game. But bugger me dead, he did that and the Tigers broke an 8-game losing streak. And at the same time, he exposed the Roosters for the frauds we all hope that they are. Let's not forget the Tigers were without regular kicker Adam Dewey, the bloke who wants to name his position or he's not playing, the bloke who's rumoured to be looking for an exit clause out of his Tigers contract. Oh no, Adam, don't go. What will we do without you? Fuck off, mate. So that's round 26 wrapped up, boys. A round where the Bulldogs prick-teased their team into dreaming about semis. Nothing worse than being prick-teased into a semi. The Warriors scored points at will and the Tigers began their march to the semi-finals. Back to you at the Nathan Brooks Memorial Studios.
Need some action, baby!